Good morning, everybody. It is Wednesday, the 16th of December. 9 more days until Christmas, and things are getting busy. Uh, excuse me. You might be able to see it in the one corner of the camera, right over there, the box. It's because packages are starting to arrive for Christmas. I know for a lot of people this particular Christmas things are a little difficult and tight, and I don't mean to be reminding everybody of such things, but I think the meaning behind Christmas as we get closer to the joyous day, excuse me, we tend to look at our home, our family, things of that nature, and we try our best, especially this particular chaotic year, to find the joy and the good in the season. And I woke up this morning to Jerry coughing because we're both having allergy issues. She's having it worse than I am this year. She has morning coughs, and that's from basically the medicine is starting to wear off. So we're getting postnasal drip. I know I've woken up a couple times with congestion and whatnot, and had to pull out the nasal spray to clean that up, clear that up so I can breathe. But this morning, besides her coughing, what woke me up, because I thought I reset my alarm, but I didn't, was my 9:30 alarm clock, which I use to help me wake up and get going if I have to be at work by 10:30. I had forgotten to turn that off and put my 10:30 alarm on. So that briefly woke me up, and then I rolled over and fell asleep, and she started coughing, and you know, I'm kind of used to it. Yeah, I kind of like, oh, are you okay? All right, fine. You okay? All right, I'm gonna roll over. Well, this morning, I guess she, I don't know exactly what was going through her head because I didn't ask her. Excuse me. She, was feeling some need for, just cuddles. And, hey, no big deal. It's nice once in a while to not have to worry about rushing, getting out of bed, and just being able to lay in bed with each other. I do enjoy it. I won't be, I won't lie about it. I enjoy it immensely, especially lately. Now, I don't know if it's because of the holiday memories and blues and whatnot rolling in, excuse me, but it's also not just to basically comfort each other from our blues or depression, our woes, whatever you want to call it. But it's nice to be able to lay there and enjoy the company of your spouse without having to worry about anything else. Well, I figured out what part of it was. Excuse me. My bed head is wanting to show its ugly head, or hair in this case. She, I should say, but she shared it with me. Viewed, I guess this gentleman who put it on TikTok must be some sort of psychiatrist or just somebody who knows and understands. But he did 5 signs of emotionally abused childhood in adults. And I had 5 out of 5. And I went, well, that helps me understand a little bit more about why I can be so offstandish. It's because the fact that I have emotional issues due to childhood issues. I never thought my parents were abusive. They were never physically abusive. Now I know why. It was all emotional. live and learn. Take that knowledge and use it to better yourself, is all I had to say. It's one of those things where you don't think about the factor that, okay, a child is not showing signs of physical abuse. But what about that emotional abuse aspect? I never thought about it until last night. I never thought about the emotional abuse that a person can do to another person, and especially a child who's still developing emotionally. I just slow myself down and see that. And I'm like, okay, so that's why I'm always wanting to run away or get away or hide myself away, however you want to put it, because I guess emotionally I'm stunted. I never really thought about it. Now that I think about it, I'm like, 49 years of trying to deal with emotional issues, not knowing why I have them in the first place, let alone how to deal with them. Now it's like, okay, I understand I do have them, so how do I deal with them? How do I, I'm trying to adjust my hair and itch my ear. So it's kind of like one of those, never really thought about that. That's why I'm moody. That's why I shut myself off from time to time. And I think that's one of the reasons why when I feel I'm getting too emotionally close to something or someone, I want to push it away. Unless that something or someone brings me tremendous amounts of joy. Not saying Jerry doesn't bring me joy, but there are times where it's just kind of like, no. I don't really want to deal with it. Well, one of the things that we discovered, and I didn't think it was going to happen or backfire, I don't know how you want to put it, but I have been, I haven't done it in a while, but I have been in contact with Joanne's bestie from Texas, Lisa, and Lisa and I felt that Jerry-Ann needed a out. She needed to get away from here for a short period of time just to adjust ourselves emotionally, psychologically, and maybe even physically. I don't know. And I was thinking, okay, so Lisa would come here the day of or the day after Christmas, and they would go wherever for a while. Well, Lisa got it in her brain, and I don't know if I did it myself or not, maybe I did, that she was going to come up here and basically, quote unquote, kidnap Jerry-Ann to take her away for a while. I kind of think it would help her. It may or may not help me, I don't know. The problem is, where Lisa's coming from is a hot zone. And I don't know how bad it is down there. I'm probably going to check it out and do some research later on today, means I have today and tomorrow off, and see how bad it is. If it's so bad that they're starting to do closures and whatnot, I might be on Jerry-Ann's side about her. She's a little, she wants to, but she doesn't want to. She wants to get out for a while, but she doesn't want to go down to Sugar Land, Texas. Now, if it's such a hot zone that they're basically shutting things down, not just bars and restaurants, but businesses, schools, things like that, I may not want her to go myself. I might want them to just go somewhere closer, or maybe down to Florida. I don't know how bad it is down in Florida, and they can all get together with Sharon. But I was told yesterday by Jerry-Ann that Lisa had contacted her and said she'd be here Tuesday before Christmas, and they'd leave out of here like Saturday or Sunday after Christmas, or not Saturday, but Sunday, Monday after Christmas. I'm kind of like, oh, okay, who else coming down with Lisa? And Jerry was like, no, Lisa's gonna drive by herself. And I'm like, okay, well, that's a good day's drive. I mean, that's a good 12 to 16 hours, 12 to 14 hours, something like that. It's a good long drive to be by yourself. Now, I know Jerry does it by herself, even when I'm with her, or she's driven down there by herself. My only concern is just the health factor, the health risk factor. Because it's like, what are you gonna do? What basically Jerry Ann said was, what am I gonna do? Drive down there and just sit around Lisa's new, smaller than her old apartment situation, where her boys are sleeping out in a living room and there's only one bedroom type of situation. I don't know. I know her one elder son is going to be going to New York, to college. I don't know where. I don't know if he decided New York or where exactly. And he'll be moving out when he does that. But her youngest son, who's still in high school, is like sleeping on the couch. I did not know the severity. Well, I kind of knew because I was kind of told about it, but I didn't. I couldn't wrap my brain around it. I mean, I would love Jerry Ann to be able to get help from those who know her best. Because it's like, well, I can't help her as much as she needs help, because either A, I'm not home when she needs help, or B, I'm trying to get myself situated. I'm trying to get my head wrapped around some stuff. And now that I'm learning some of the stuff that I've been learning about myself, I'm like on the verge of it being, well, what kind of help can we get? We both need help now. It's not just her trying to help me, but it's me trying to help her, and I don't know how to. I can only give her so much advice, and my advice is not always sound advice. I mean, literally, shortly after my birthday, I was just I wasn't displeased by my birthday. I was just unhappy about a lot of different things. And turning 49, realizing I'm going to be 50 in a year, kind of got me in a funk, so to speak. And she got into one of her, depressionary ditches or ruts, however you want to call it, and asked me what I wanted to do. And I was like, well, it depends on what aspect are you asking about? And she was like, just generalize, what do I want to do? How do I want to deal with our situation? And I said, I looked at her and said, honestly, I'm ready to just sell everything I own, pack up my clothes and my books, and hit the road. I did not want to be here. Honestly, I didn't even want to be in the continental U.S. I wanted to literally leave the country. And this was about towards the beginning of the beginning or middle of the riots before the election. And I was just like, I'm tired of dealing with COVID. I'm tired of wearing masks. I'm tired of the paranoia of COVID. I was tired of a lot of stuff going on here in the States. And I had gotten reports that, yeah, Europe was dealing with COVID too, but they were being smart about it, I just, yeah, a lot of people sit there and go, yeah, grass is always greener on the other side of the fence. Well, when you've been on the other side of the fence, and you can sit there and go, yes, it is greener. Yes, we have problems on this side of the fence, but we deal with our problems in a civilized manner. I just don't understand America anymore. I really don't. I think I stopped understanding America back in the 80s when we got back from Germany. Did I get tainted by how the German people were, how friendly everybody was, how clean everything was, how neat and cool and beautiful, and just all the different things that Germany was literally offering up on a silver platter. Um, my father had two different job offers for staying in Germany, literally. I mean, one offer was from the mayor of the city, of the little town we were living in, and the other offer was from the factory owner that we were living in the apartment next door. You know, the factory owner was renting out the apartment to us. You know, and we were helped by the mayor of Alt Lake to get the apartment because obviously we were doing something right. You know, and in fact, my father was a very personable, friendly person that everybody wanted to know. Everybody wanted to be around. I'm kind of the opposite, kind of. I'm not as friendly as he was. I'm not as personable as he was, but I do have plenty of people who appreciate me being at their job or their business, or, you know, I've never had a complaint from any manager. I've had complaints from coworkers at two different jobs, but nothing to the point where the manager had to do anything about it. I just consider myself a, you know, average to slightly above average person when it comes to personality. I mean, I've had bosses basically laughing at some of my antics and jokes and whatnot, and I think the only complaint that one manager had, and I was like, I'm sorry, I was having a bad day, was language. Partial attitude. More attitude than language, I should say. I get mad and sometimes I just lose my control, and just whatever comes out, and I don't feel any shame for it. I really don't. I think the worst thing I've had attitude wise is just like, if you don't like my personality, there's a door. Don't let it hit you on the way out, type thing. But not to that extent. I mean, I've had issues with jobs and whatnot just because of the fact that I can see ways of doing things better or working things out for the best for everybody. I don't know. I'm just who I am. But with the Christmas holidays approaching and best laid plans are starting to get a little out of control, I did not realize Texas was Houston area was a red zone. So I apologize to the parties involved. Jerry's kind of on the fence because she's like, I want to go. I feel like I do need to go, but I don't want to, the idea was they were going to go down to Georgia, but Lisa doesn't want to bring, the possibility of her sister in Georgia getting sick from possibility of carrying corona. And I'm like, well, if you're afraid to go to Georgia because you're afraid that, you're afraid to go to Georgia because of corona, why are you willing to come up here? I am pretty sure that Lisa has been keeping herself as healthy as possible. Aren't we all? But yeah, because it's like, I know my wife. If they leave Lisa's apartment, she's going to be wearing her mask and sanitizing every time she basically gets back in the car or goes to take off the mask or whatever. The idea was she would go up there for a short period of time, maybe a week. And Lisa's daughter, Emily, who's got 3 little boys, would come down here with one of the, drive Jerry Ann back with one of the babies. And maybe stay here for a short period of time. I don't know. I, not really part of the planning process. I was the one who kind of like, I heard from, I don't know if I heard from Lisa or I heard from Jerry Ann about Lisa coming down here to kidnap her. And I was the one who contacted Lisa going, so I hear you want to kidnap my wife for a short period of time after Christmas. And me and Lisa had a conversation about what basically brought that on. And what brought it on, honestly, was a combination of a conversation they must have had over a phone call, or Lisa saw. I think Lisa saw one of my videos or something like that. But whatever happened to start the whole ball of wax getting built up, turning into a downhill snowball. I do and I don't apologize. I do because of the factor that part of me did not expect all this to happen. Part of me was hoping that if Jerry can get out of the house for a little while, she can hopefully get her emotions back under wraps or whatnot. She has gone through the various stages of grieving. She's still having the occasional depression and crying fits and whatnot, which I can understand. She went through it faster than I did. I'm still going through a grieving period. And one of the things that I don't know all the stages of depression or grieving. I just know that letting go and letting go is one of the biggest ones that I'm having trouble with. I'm 49. My father passed away before I turned 16, and I still haven't let go of that. I still haven't fully let go. Yes, I have bouts of depression, but I don't think it's just, well, I think part of the fact of that because I haven't fully let go of excuse me, because I haven't fully let go of the whole the whole ordeal. I still have the grieving aspect, I guess you'd say. Oh, too many things in pockets. But life goes on, and we deal with it to the best of our abilities. And she has gone through most of the stages, if not all of them, but she still has the memories and whatnot. And I think that's what it is with me. It's not that I haven't let go, it's the fact that I still have the memories. And you can't just let go or get rid of memories. They'll always find a way to creep into your mind, to remind you of the good, the bad, and all between. And ever since that TikToker with the 5 signs of emotional, I forgot what it's called now. Emotionally abused childhood. I try to think of all the things that could have been going on that could have caused me to have the emotional abuse, which causes my outbursts whatever you want to call it. I think now that I'm thinking about it, one of the biggest memories that I can think of was just the whole 3 years in Arkansas. The whole 3 years in Arkansas was just a whole lot of mom and dad arguing, dad spending a lot of time between two jobs, between the Air Force and his overnight job working at the Truckomat, being a big rig washman. Mom wanting to basically leave and move back to Missouri to grandma and grandpa. A lot of the different things that happened in Arkansas besides those things could have been an emotional stunting. It's the furthest back I can remember, the furthest memories I can remember that could have been the main central cause or start of my emotional issues. I do remember that I always had issues with expressing myself in one way or another. Well, maybe not, because I did express myself, even though they weren't always positive ways of expression. That and a factor, while we were in the Philippines after I was born, we had a house girl that basically was the main person who took care of not only me, but everything else. So who knows where it began. Thing is where's it going to end? I mean, besides going to some sort of counselor or something like that, even with counselors, how do I fully express myself without being Action Jackson? I have hard times sometimes with words. So when I have hard times with words, it's action. I end up acting it out because I don't know how to speak it. Maybe that's part of the emotional stunting. I don't know. I'm not fully aware of what emotional stunting is. It's something I'm gonna have to now put on my list of things to research. But there's a multitude of reasons for people being who they are, or what they are, or how they are. Sometimes we learn what they are and we try to fix it. Sometimes we don't know and we never learn. We just continue on. I'm not asking anybody to, if you're connected to Jerry Ann via YouTube or whatever medium you might be connected to her, if you are, I'm not asking you guys to appeal to her and tell her that she needs to go away for a while. That sounded wrong. I didn't mean it that way. I meant it like a retreat. She needs to spend time with people who are outside of what's going on here at the house, who can sit down and listen to her and try their best to help her get through it, deal with it, whatever. I know some people will say that we need to deal with it together. I think you're correct. You would be correct, yet you would be incorrect. It's one of those yes-no things. Yes, in the factor that, yeah, we should be trying to deal with it together, but no, because the factor both of us cannot be dealing with issues, whether they're personal or not, and try to help the other one out. I explained to her that I have a hard time helping other people with their problems, especially people who are close to me, like she is, when I'm having my own problems. If I'm not having my own problems, I'm fine. I can help people. I can do the best I can. I told her that one of my biggest issues with trying to help people out with personal emotional issues or emotional issues that are close to home is because the fact that when it happened to me, when my father and my father, my grandmother, my two aunts passed away within such a close time, um, the advice that a lot of people were giving me was misunderstood, mistaken. And I ended up doing a lot of things or being a person that I never want to be again. That I'm not proud of what I was like when I was a teenager. I mean, I look back at my teenage life and go, wow, I've come a long way. My family in Arizona have not seen me in, I'm gonna say, at least 25 to 30 years or more. 35 years. We left, I was 22, 20, yeah. I was in my mid-20s, so 35 years ago. Or am I wrong? No, 30. Somewhere between 25 and 30 years ago. They have not seen me. I've changed dramatically. I mean, physically, mentally, whole nine yards. I know a couple family members who probably would not agree with some of my new thoughts and ways and whatnot, but others would be probably proud of me. I would love to be able to go see them. I'd love to be able to go on a road trip to go see them. Don't know when that's going to happen because of Corona and all that fun jazz. But I've gone off track. Started out talking about Christmas, and I started talking about issues at home and plans around Christmas. You know, I guess it's kind of Christmas. Anyhow, today is going to be a interesting day because my mom is taking her shipment of cookies to the church to go to the Show Me Kids. Then she's going to run around and do a couple of errands before coming home. And then sometime this afternoon, we're going to make cookies for the house. She's making a cookie called a kalachki. I think that's the right kind of cookie. I don't know. It's basically I don't know. She wants to make a bunch of other cookies, and I'm sitting there going, well, slow down, Mom. First off, after you get rid of the cookies that you're sending off, what's left and who's getting what? Second off, I don't want to do what we did last year. Last year we made so many cookies that we had like 4 bins worth of cookies left over. I don't know how many dozen cookies that was. I'd have to say at least 5 or more dozen cookies. And we ended up throwing half of them away because either they were starting to spoil, or, I mean, they lasted until almost mid to late January, almost up to Valentine's Day. And I was like, I don't want to do that because 1, it's too big of a temptation for Jerry. 2, it's a temptation for me, and I'm trying to decrease my sugar and junk intake. Even though every once in a blue moon I want a Reese's peanut butter cup or something along that lines. I practically cut out soda. In fact, yesterday was the first time I had soda in almost a week. I have been drinking either coffee, tea, or water. Speaking about coffee, tea, or water, it looks like I finished my coffee. So I've been trying to keep away from like soda, and not that I'm trying to keep away from caffeine. I'm trying to keep away from the sugar content, because coffee I use sugar-free creamer now. tea, I use honey, which is a natural sweetener, not an artificial sweetener. Pure cane sugar, which is the best kind of sugar you can have if you're going to have sugar, has a high melt temperature. So you literally have to put the sugar into your coffee cup or tea cup before you add the boiling hot water. And even then, sometimes the sugar does not melt because of the high temperature it needs to melt down into its liquid or granulated instead of like big fat chunks. Raw sugar, sugar cane, raw sugar, sugar in the raw, however you want to put it. When they were first refining it and melting it down for regular sugar that we use in our teas and sugars that they use for rum or whatnot, back in the old days, I hate using the word, but back in the slave days in the Caribbean, it was very dangerous to melt down the sugar cane because of the high temperature needed for melting it down. That's why I don't use it, because it's just very difficult to melt it down and for your tea and not have chunks of raw sugar in the bottom of your cup. And the reason why I don't use like regular sugar in my tea like most people do is because of the processing to make the sugar as we do nowadays has a lot of chemical or artificial compounds in it, so I won't use it. It's not as healthy as honey, which is all natural for the most part, or at least in the honey that I use. Basically all they do is take it from the honeycomb and melt it down with low to moderate temperature, or moderate to high temperature, but not extremely high like sugar cane. That in fact are all the things I know about honey, even though a lot of people might not like it because it's a combination of, to process the nectar from the flowers to make the honey to fill the honeycomb is basically regurgitated nectar, or as my father-in-law wanted to call it, bee shit. Well, that's fine. It's a natural processing. It has no artificial processing. That in effect, they do say the benefits of raw or natural honey for your health alone, not just for the sweetening of foods and drinks, but the health factors alone, because of the enzymes in the honey from the bee actually helps fight various types of ailments. And I think back to my childhood when my father was like, take a spoonful of honey when you're having sickness, when you're having throat issues, because the honey literally coats your throat so you don't have the mucus that drains from your nose at night causing clogging and coughing and dripping into your actual lungs because of the honey factor. Whether it's old folklore or old folk medicine, I don't know. It's good. Anyhow, before it gets too late, because my videos lately, I don't know when to cut them short. I am going to try to cut it short now, even though it's 40 minutes. Bible verse of the day is John 15, verse 7. And it says here, and this is kind of, lately it's been, a lot of these verses in John has been really poignant, I guess the word would be. Anyhow, it says here, if you remain in me and my word remains in you, ask whatever you wish and it will be done for you. I want to break that down because the words alone are they hit home. Because I know from my past experiences, my past wanderings, There are times I wonder, because even though I don't live a 100% Christian life like most Christians feel that they do, I know I don't. I won't lie to myself. I won't lie to the universe. I won't lie to you guys. I don't always live a 100% pure Christian life. I believe, or I feel, I should say, that it is virtually impossible to live 100% pure Christian. Even if you don't have the knowledge I do about other religions or other belief systems, even before I started getting into various other religions and cultures and beliefs and whatnot, I look back at my days before my studies began, and I realized, no, I was not always 100% a pure Christian. I think the aspect is that if you still hold in your heart, no matter what, the words or Jesus's teachings, not exactly the words in general, but the teachings, the principles behind the teaching, that you're living the best you can as a Christian. That you can ask for all kinds of things. You can ask for better health, you can ask for a better life, better income, whatever. Now, a lot of us will say, yeah, I do that all the time, but nothing happens. I'm not given what I'm asked for. Well, that's simple. We can ask for, we can ask for whatever we want to ask for. Whether it's given to us the way we feel it should be given to us, whether it's on a silver platter or on a wait list. I am pretty darn sure that it's given to us the way we need it, not the way we want it. Because we can sit here and go, I want. Give me. But it's not up to us when we get it, or if we even actually get it at all, because we're asking for what we want. Now, if we ask for something that's a need, it's a necessity, it's something that can be achieved or given to us, it is on God's time, not ours. It's up to Him when we get it. We can ask, when we get it, if it's a need, that's up to Him. Now, in modern times, modern day life, we want more than what we need. You know what we need? Food on the table, clothes on our back, a roof over our heads, and love in our heart. That's what we need. Everything else is a want. This phone, all the stuff in this room, all the stuff in this house, it's a want. The only thing that's in this house that's the need is the roof, the clothes, the food. Everything else is just show. Trying to keep up with the Joneses. Or, not modern day term, trying to keep up with the Kardashians. That's not a necessity. That's a want. Yeah, there's a lot of things I want. They're not a necessity. A lot of things I need. Some new socks. I'm running low because I wear holes in them. One or two new shirts because they're falling. I got one particular shirt that I've had for I don't know how long, and Jerry's tried to sew the holes in the armpits because that's where it's wearing the most. It's still falling apart. Holes are still forming in the armpit region. It's one of my favorite shirts. I can't just throw it away. I've got in a pile that Jerry Ann I asked Jerry Ann to basically try to make a pillow out of. It's an old shirt from Yellowstone National Park from when I worked there, the last time I worked. I don't want to get rid of it because I still love it. Where is it worn the most? In the armpits. And I think because of the fact that sometimes I wear it as a double, Like I'll wear it either as I'll put it on, then I'll put a shirt on over that to keep warm, and because of the movement of my arms and whatnot, the wear and tear in the armpit. You know, there are certain. I mean, Jerry Ann's got more treasures of that accord, either things that she can't wear no more, or things that just have no place, or just precious things that we want to keep from, damage from the environment that we got in totes, boxes. Now I got maybe one box worth, and she's got maybe 4 boxes worth. I don't keep track. I'm just guessing. Those are memories. Those are treasures. But if we had to, I know she'd be heartbroken, but if we had to get rid of them for one reason or another, I'm pretty sure she would go through them and pick and choose the most precious items and keep those. But all that stuff is they're not needed. I mean, yeah, they're great to help us remember the past and whatnot, but they're not a necessity. I mean, what would you fight for if you were given a choice? Keeping what you wanted or keeping what was needed? Would you fight for the roof over your house, the food on your plate, the clothes on your back, or would you fight for a trinket or an object that had some sort of sentimental value? Which would you give up first? I know a lot of people would be like, "Oh, I'd give up everything but the sentimental value." No, I wouldn't. I've moved around so many times in my lifetime that if I have something of sentimental value, I'm like, oh, that didn't get misplaced or left behind or anything like that. Because my biggest concern would be making sure my bills are paid to keep the roof over my house, making sure the bills are paid so I can keep food on my table, making sure the bills are paid so I can keep clothes in my, on my back. I would work my ass off, excuse my language, for those 3 things. My ElfQuest comic collection, if I had to keep the 3 necessities, if I had to sell them off, I would. I know plenty of people who are looking for certain comics that I have, and they're willing to pay top dollar. I'm not really willing to give it up. There are just times where you have to literally sit down and think, if we were given a choice of the 3 necessities of life over trinkets or memories of the past, which would we give up first? I've watched disaster movies where they tell you, pack your necessities, jump on this truck so we can take you to a safe location during this disaster or during this calamity. There are so many people who try to shove unnecessary items in a bag to keep with them. You know what I shove in a bag? A couple days worth of clothes in my Bible. If I had to literally basically choose what I was taking with me to a safe zone, other than my wife, because she'd have to pack up her own bag. I don't have it in here. I can take my my one military rucksack, which is what they call it, a day pack. I could pack in that backpack 3 days worth of clothes and still have room for my Bible. I have a duffel bag that I can literally pack up a month's worth of clothes and still have room for a couple books. It's all you have to do. Anyhow, this has now been almost an hour, and I'm sorry. I leave you with those thoughts and Bible message and all that fun stuff. If you enjoyed this chat, give it a thumbs up. If you have any questions or comments, go ahead and put it in the comment box. If you're new to my channel and want to see more, go ahead and click on that little bell, if it, either the thumb and then a bell or something along that lines, and you'll become a subscriber, and YouTube will let you know when I put in a new video. So until next time, God bless, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, bye.